Hello and welcome to DLTV. My name is Robert Heron, and joining me this week is the extraordinaire himself, Dave Mathews. He is not only an inventor, but friend of the show and all-around technologist that, I don't know, I've probably known you for about 3 years now, 4 years?
Handful of years now, and I've been a freelancer with the Ziff Davis properties here for a a number of years.
I remember back in the Tech TV days, too.
Yeah,
a couple of
way
projects
back.
there. But anyway, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. I've been a big fan and always anxious to sit in the seat here.
Awesome, awesome. On this week's show, we're going to have, of course, Dave showing off one of the latest projects he's working on, something I think anybody who's into audio-video streaming around the house is going to really appreciate. We'll also have... well, we're going to take a look at some free music streaming sites, and I don't know, there's something about a video card giveaway we've got going on today. I think we're going to take care of that as well. We're also going to take a look, finally, the all-promised HDMI switches. Okay, anyway, free video cards, yeah, those are coming up. And, of course, some tech picks. I think we're going to have to skip the viewer questions this week just to make a little room for the video cards. But anyway, that and a whole lot more. You were on Cranky Geeks the other day talking about, the discussion delved into inventions, patent litigation, and so forth. When it comes to inventing stuff, where do you get some of your inspiration?
So what I like to do is see how people utilize technology, and I'm what's called a white space inventor. So I look at how people utilize sites like eBay or how they consume media in their house, and I try and create products that have patentable protection. Now, it's a little bit different way to invent. Some people just come up with pie-in-the-sky ideas that might not be feasible for 5, 6, 10 years, which is about the time. It takes 5 or so years to get a patent actually granted. It costs about $10,000. So the route of going with a patent and then following up with a product later is a little backwards to me. I like to solve the problem and try and build a company or a product around that problem, and then use the patents to keep companies like Sony out or companies that might try and eat your lunch.
Is it more about really just, I'm thinking, you're not in this for the short-term, quick grab of money. It's really like, you know what, you've got good ideas. You're looking at the long-term of things. It's not something anybody should just delve into and going, oh, this is it. This is, I can stop my day job and just move right on. It's
very difficult to do that. If you come up with a patent and try and do what's called litigation, or NTP and RIM had this patent, hundreds of millions of dollars in court fees led to hundreds of millions of dollars of a settlement. But the
lawyers get rich.
The lawyers get rich. Eventually, some people got rich on this deal, but it's seen as patent trolling. It's a lot of people will buy up patents and try and scoop them up and then go attack other people. And this is happening with everything from MPEG patents to JPEG patents to MP3 patents. So it's not the right way to go about things. And there's some legislation enacted that's trying to prevent these patent trolls to even do this. I like to create a product, solve a problem, and create something that has value, and then use the patents as protection.
That's awesome. Is there, are you personally waiting for anything on the horizon right now to be patent granted?
Oh, absolutely. So because it takes 5 years or so, some of my patents that I published in 1998 and 1999 still haven't come to fruition yet. So it's a long process. I've say that I like to grow gray hair while I'm waiting for some of these patents to grant. But it's cool. When one grants, you never know when it's going to happen. The patent attorneys go back and forth with the patent office. There's arguments back and forth, and sometimes my patent attorney will say, hey, something, what's called prior art, infringes on what you're doing. And it wouldn't really infringe. I would infringe on what prior art was doing. So you have to do a little dance and wiggle and shake around it. So it's exciting, though, when they grant. It's like new babies are being born.
That's pretty cool. If you have those kind of ideas or those thoughts of doing something that might be patentable, is there a website or a resource you'd start with, or is it really just go find a good patent attorney right off the bat?
Yeah, a good patent attorney is going to be expensive. So this is what's difficult. With $10,000, it's a little tricky. So what I would do is try and find an angel investor, someone in your family or a friend. And if you can come up with prototypes, nowadays, so much can be done in software, where when I started inventing, it was all hardware tinkering. I mean, think about Edison, what he had to build. There was no...
from scratch.
From scratch, right?
Versus like, say, a breadboard design circuitry and whatnot to now software design where you can simulate things.
And even hardware like Bug Labs, right, where it's a brain that's essentially what would be inside of a router, and you can plug modules into it, develop software around it, and now you can build a digital camera or a GPS or some sort of thing that... takes an idea that really hasn't been achieved before with off-the-shelf hardware, and you can kind of Lego it together, which is really exciting.
Bug Labs is awesome. They were here visiting about 3 months ago with their latest prototyping. Buglabs.com, I think it is. .net, thank you. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. We'll get into that more. We can sit here and talk about patents and inventions, I think, to the end of the time we have available to us. But let's just dive quickly right into our tech pick of the week. And this one, kind of special, near and dear concept that, you know, I think anybody could appreciate. But this one comes to us courtesy of AKA Starvin' Marvin and Doc Charlie. They have been running folding at home software personally, anonymously in the background for quite a while now. And they finally said, you know what? They were able to scrape together, or were donated, this Optiplex Dell computer. It's a workstation anyway. You can tell in that picture. It's pretty banged up. However, they redid the hard drive and the graphics card that they had laying around. They had some extra parts, and they threw that into the box. And a lady named Sonia kindly donated a couple of 128 sticks of RAM, 128 meg sticks of RAM. And overall, the system is essentially a P4, 1.3 gigahertz, 16 gig hard drive, oh, wow. 256 megs of RDRAM, and a 64 meg NVIDIA MX420 card. Old hardware. We're talking over 5 years old, I'm thinking. Look, it is. But now, this is a system that they have now dedicated to the Folding at Home project, which is great. And I'm hoping maybe they use that system to get into the contest to add that graphics card, which would undoubtedly increase their performance as well. However, I have to say their final statement here was they're not only helping us as Team DLTV Folding and the Folding at Home project, but they say, quote unquote, being over 60 years old, we're hoping you'll find a cure for Alzheimer's very soon. And there was one more thing, but I cannot remember it now. That was just cute. You know, thank you.
That was good.
Starvin' Marvin, Doc Charlie, in the house. And I hope you guys were in the contest, too. Please do send us your tech picks to dl.tv@ziffdavis.com with the term subject, or in the subject line, please put tech picks so we know what the heck we're looking for. I do appreciate that. Our very own Kyle Monson of PC Magazine has a few suggestions for streaming music audio into your environment, and here are some free online options that you can consider.
There are plenty of easy and free ways to stream music on the internet, whether you're looking for one specific song or you just want a customized stream of music that you'll think you'll like. So here's the first scenario. A coworker walks by your cubicle humming Africa by Toto. You need to hear the song and you need to hear it now. Simple. Go to Screamer.com, SeekPod.com, or Songs.com. Type in Toto Africa, and boom, you're streaming it for free. Next scenario. Listening to Toto's Africa reminds you of all that great 80s music you haven't heard in a long time. You want to hear it now. Simple. Go to imeme.com or finetune.com, and you can build a playlist of whatever songs you want. These aren't songs that you even have to own. They're just songs from iMeme or Finetune's catalog, but you can build them into a playlist that you can listen to and stream for free. Next scenario. Let's say you're too busy to build a playlist yourself. You just want to build a customized stream that can just feed you music that you like. Well, there are lots of sites that do this. Some of them include Last.fm, Django, Pandora, and Slacker, for instance. After 3 minutes on Django, I've built a stream with only the 80s music that I like. And as I listen, I can further customize this stream by rating songs as they're playing. Let's say all that customization is too much trouble. You just want a music stream that's going to give you stuff that's good. Try out the 61.com, which is like a dig service, but for music. If you want an eclectic blend of music, stick to the stuff that was recently uploaded that hasn't been rated yet. If you want only the good stuff, the cream of the crop, stick to the stuff that's already been rated and floated to the top. So no matter what kind of music you like, the 61 is going to be able to feed it to you. Obviously, none of these scenarios are going to work when you're driving in your car or listening to your MP3 player, but they're great ways to stream music for free in your home or office. Hope that helps. I'm Kyle Monson from PC Magazine.
Streaming music. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think it's time now to, we're going to do this, we're going to do our graphic card pick. We had over 1,000 eligible entries. That's the biggest contest we've had so far in terms of response from you guys. Apparently you love Sapphire's graphics cards, the 4850s that we have available. We're going to go ahead and out of the exactly, I think it was 1,042 entries, a nice even number there, we're going to pull up good old random.org and go ahead and select the numbers now, and then we're going to take these numbers during the next break, go into our spreadsheet, names and addresses, put it all together so we can do this nice and cleanly for you guys, so you're not basically letting you hang here for time on end. So let's just go ahead and pull up random.org. Let's see here. What's the fuss about true randomness? Probably right at the top.
Right at the top, numbers at the top.
Yeah, and we need some numbers.
All right.
So let's do this.
Remember LavaRand? It would use lava lamps for random numbers.
That was awesome. With a little net cam hooked right up to it, that would just give you that random thing. So what we need is...
How many columns? How many numbers? 1,000 random?
We're going to need 5.
5, okay.
So we're going to generate the 5 random numbers. Each integer should have a value between 1 and 1,042.
All right. How many columns? 2 columns, probably.
Okay. We'll do that.
All right, you ready?
Oh, Dave, you're deciding the numbers. Let's do it. Oh, the excitement.
There we go.
There we go. None of those are duplicates? Nope, they shouldn't be any duplicates.
I hope not.
Nope.
That's a bad algorithm if
yeah, that would be pretty bad. So here are the 5 numbers we have: 645, 657, 368, 327, and 911. Those are the 5 numbers. We're going to go check our spreadsheet right now, and we'll get back to you guys.
I'm like Price Waterhouse over here with the. It's a third-party random person to check the numbers here. This is good. It was a nice setup for that.
We've used random.org before, and they have a pretty good fact section in terms of exactly how they're doing what they do. And I believe they're using radioactive decay, a chip that they actually pull randomized data from.
Wow.
It's as random as I know of. So just to be fair to everyone.
It's a little disgusting, though, you got to admit. The radioactive decay, you know, this just doesn't sound clean.
It's nature. It's nature. Without radioactive decay, it would be a cold, cold world.
I see.
Anyway, so while Scott's out there digging through the spreadsheet, apparently, we'll get that information and compile it and get it all set for the end of the show. But until then, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about your latest project, something called Boxee.
I kind of pitch you as, I guess, like the Forrest Gump of the video game world, but I mean that in like the most positive way possible. In that you were there in like all these significant time periods. Like, I mean, Star Fox, and then which you were at Nintendo in Japan. Then Blasto.
Oh, you did Blasto?
Yeah.
I'm Danica Patrick, IndyCar driver and GoDaddy girl. I know a little bit about speed, so take it from me. If you want a fast way to make a name for yourself on the internet, GoDaddy has everything you need. GoDaddy got me online fast, and they can do the same for you. .com names as low as $1.99. When you have something to say it at GoDaddy.com.
Plus, as a DLTV viewer, you can enter the code DLTV when you check out, and you'll save an additional 10% on any order. This does not apply to renewal products, discounted, or bulk domain names. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. Thank you, GoDaddy. Well, before we get into Boxee, I wanted to, your project, your latest project, which we will take a look at. I had some HDMI switches I wanted to show off last week, and this sounds like it might be a little bit boring, but trust me, if you've got a new HD TV that had a limited amount of HDMI ports, maybe 1 or 2, you've probably filled those up already, and you need an option to help you expand your HDMI inputs. So here's a little video I put together for you guys. The high-definition multimedia interface, or HDMI, has become the cable connection of choice for connecting your home theater gear. Now, perhaps on the back of your HD TV, you're given a limited number of HDMI inputs, maybe a couple, and you have more HDMI gear than you have connections on the back of your TV. In that case, you want to consider adding something called an HDMI switch. These products allow you to use one of those HDMI connections on the back of your TV to then connect multiple devices, thereby then using that one switcher product to go through and select the different devices that are connected. Now, one of my favorite home theater accessories companies is an online retailer called Monoprice, and they offer a $40 HDMI switch that competes very well with some switches that can cost up to 10 times as much. The Monoprice HDX 401E is a 4x1 HDMI switch, meaning it has 4 connections for connecting your HDMI-enabled devices and 1 output that connects to the TV itself. Basic, simple, it works just fine. There's really not much more you can say, and it's one of the least expensive HDMI switches available today. This is the Excel 4.2 HDMI switch. This particular model incorporates not only 4 inputs, but 2 outputs, so you can drive 2 displays at the same time. This particular switch also incorporates a basic automatic switching feature. The ports on the back, numbered 1 through 4, are prioritized so that, say, if you turn off the thing connected to port number 1, it will switch to the next active port. However, if you're dealing with an always-on device, like particularly DVRs like a TiVo, those never really turn off. So adding a device like that to a product like the Excel switch, will confuse it and effectively cancel out that automatic switching feature. The Excel switch sells for $199, and overall it performs pretty well, and it includes, of course, the requisite credit card size remote control that you'll probably want to just replace. And like other switches, it also is included in Harmony's database, so you can add a universal control feature to that if you already have that equipment at home. This is IO Gear's 4-port automatic HDMI switch. As the name implies, it actually offers 4 HDMI inputs, 1 output that connects to the TV, and it too offers an automatic switching feature. It worked overall like it should, and it provided good documentation in the box. Also, it's the only HDMI switch I've seen to date, affordable HDMI switch I should say, that includes an HDMI cable in the box. While not a huge benefit, it's nice to see. One quick thing to point out, the design on the back of this switch has a lip right below the HDMI ports for inputs, and if you're dealing with an older HDMI cable that has a very large interconnect, you might find that it's unable to fit within those HDMI ports, so something to be aware of. Now, this little beauty is the Oppo Digital HM31 automatic HDMI switch. Guess what? It too is an automatic switcher. Now, what makes this product different from other automatic switches that I've looked at is that these ports are prioritized. The inputs are prioritized, 1 through 3, so that, say, I have an always-on device like a DVR. I'll connect that to the least prioritized port, number 3 in this case, and then my other devices, as they turn on or off, they will always be able to override the DVR signal or an always-on signal that might be present. Other benefits of the Oppo product are it includes an RS-232 connection for home theater control systems if you're using one of those nice advanced systems. And overall, for $100, it's one of the most effective HDMI switches I've used to date. And it's not the cheapest, but I have to say it is one of my favorite, and it's the easiest to use, and its automatic switching feature is second to none. So if you can get away with just a 3-port switch, I have nothing but praise for Oppo's HM31. So if you find yourself running out of HDMI ports on your HD TV, fear not, there are some great and affordable switch products available. And with great products like the Oppo HM31 that offer that automated switching feature, you can literally plug these in and tuck them away and you wouldn't even know they were there. They just do their job and they do it quite well. Now, if you'd like full detail and a complete review of all the products I've just reviewed, well, please visit the PC Magazine website at pcmag.com. It was exciting, wasn't it? No, I seriously, the Oppo HDMI switch, that's my editor's choice if I was giving one, just because of that auto switching feature that I couldn't get it to break, even with those always-on devices like a DVR. It just, I didn't need the remote using a product like that. So cool. Even if you had an AV receiver with limited number of inputs for HDMI.
Daisy chain them through. The problem is the remotes that come with these are these like credit card remotes that are pretty much worthless.
It's cheap as can be.
Yep.
But they all offer support for the Logitech Harmony database
cool.
for if you're using one of their universal things. Yeah. You have options, people, and they're out there. And that also that monoprice one, too. That's just for $40. I mean, my Geffen, a wonderful U.S. company, but they charge about $400 for the same thing. It's hard. It's hard to do that. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So, Boxee.
You want to get into Boxee?
I do. Okay, let's just cut right to it. What is it?
So Boxee is the original XBMC, or Xbox Media Center project.
Oh, we talked about that a number of months ago.
Yeah, so about 1 million people around the world put mod chips in their Xbox. And I ripped out my 8-gig hard drive, and I put in a 100-gig hard drive. This is in 2003. And I put all this media on it. And it was a great all-format media player. So the guys did an amazing job with a new slick UI for all-encompassing media. But that was in 2003, right? No high def then, 480p if you were lucky on a glass set. And now we've got these great flat panel screens, and we've got devices like the Mac Mini and Apple TV trying to get in the living room.
Right.
But there wasn't a good operating system. So we took what was XBMC, the core of this great media player, and we turned it into Boxee. And this is the homepage of Boxee. Check this out.
So when you load up the software?
You load up the software and you log on. Everybody has a login. So you, your girlfriend, whoever lives in your house can have a login. And the reason why you need a login is because it's all about social recommendations. So Avnir, Boxee's CEO, recommend that I watch Wall Strip. So I'm like, all right, that's interesting. So I can either play it or if I want to find out more about this, I can read the metadata around it. So if I jump back to the main page, I can see Andrew, a friend of mine, is recommending artist. And since I don't have Bon Iver in my library, I can go to Last.fm, which is kind of what we talked about with streaming on the last segment here.
Okay.
And then I can get more information on it. Look at all this information. So the whole idea is social, rich metadata around both the media that you consume and you have in your network and media over the internet. So this Tropic Thunder, we were talking about this. This seems like such a funny movie.
I saw the unrated trailer and I liked it.
So in this instance, I can hit play and it'll go out to the net and play the trailer. Or if I want to find out more about the cast, actually this is a new movie, so there's not a lot of metadata there. But because I would know you would like this, I can jump into the recommend and I can go in here and I can see all my friends that are using Boxee, and just in a couple hits, I can send a recommendation out. And I can do this all with the remote. So whether it's a keyboard or I took the Xbox Media Center remote, which just is so ugly, it has so many buttons on it. But I took an old piece of hardware that I had lying around. I had this shuttle. It was an AMD 3000 box. I built it in like 2002, 2003. It had an okay video card on it. It's got this NVIDIA 5200 video card here. Pretty small. I liked it because it was fanless. And I put Ubuntu on this. Instead of running Windows, it was getting a little long in the tooth. The processor and the memory, a gig of RAM, really wasn't working so well. And just to give homage to the old guys at XBMC, I took the 8 gig hard drive that used to be on my Xbox, and that's what I'm running inside of here. So the 8 gig drive loads Ubuntu, and then I load Boxee. I've got a DVI connection to my HD TV, and this video card will do 720p. I could put a more stout video card in it to do 1080p. But now for just a couple $100, hardware that I was going to sell on eBay, I've got a great living room PC with this user interface from Boxee that is my ultimate media player.
Really, this is older hardware that pretty much, there's probably somebody has that kind of hardware just lying around the house somewhere that maybe it's collecting dust, and it's a way to repurpose it.
That's right. Like I said, I was literally going to sell this thing, and it wasn't worth $200 on eBay. So I said, let's see what we could do with it. And I did buy a better AGP video card. I bought a $100 card, does GL 2.0, and it does 1080p. And I'm so jealous of this screen you have behind you here, because, man, this thing was really cooking with HD content. But the whole idea with Boxee is a visual interface for your media. So I can see Last.fm, I can see lyrics.
Okay, but say the storage of that media then, does it have to be internal to the computer?
It could, if you have a large hard drive. Like I could put a terabyte drive in this if I wanted to.
But I also have like NAS devices and external hard drives as well.
That's right.
Will it all work?
So Boxee automatically finds the content that's in your local PC where Boxee runs. But if you have a NAS, and I use free NAS, I use a gigahertz machine with 4 250 gig drives all mashed together as a terabyte server. And that's why it didn't matter that I just put an old Xbox drive in this. 8 gig is just enough for the OS and the Boxee app. And I have some local media. Like if you have high definition media, you'd want to put it locally because you don't want that streaming across your network, especially if you're doing only 100 megabit at home. Are you a gigabit at home yet?
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh, I take that back, actually. My systems are all gigabit, but my router is the oldest thing on the planet. But it is 100 megabit.
100 megabit, right? So I have this free NAS, another repurposed box.
I was going to say, sounds like what Starvin Marvin and Doc Charlie were doing with
exactly.
that old Dell Optiplex box they were doing. It could probably run that software.
Yeah, and this is what I love about all this open source movement. And Ubuntu is a great platform, and FreeNAS is built upon FreeBSD. So I'm taking all these boxes that used to be in closets because they wouldn't run Windows very well, and I'm just repurposing them as appliances for my media. So it's a great way to take a clunker that you might have under your desk that hasn't been turned on in a while and get some use out of it. Now, you might need to upgrade the video card because you really need, in order to do a sophisticated interface like this, we need OpenGL 1.4 or OpenGL 2.0 is even better. But
however, the hardware you're running currently isn't state-of-the-art by any means.
No,
it's a couple years old.
This is a Core Solo AMD 3000.
But the graphics hardware even is a few generations old.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is an NVIDIA 5200. The other card that I bought that does 1080p is a 7600. And I'm buying these fanless cards because in the living room, you don't want a lot of noise. Right? So I'm finding these cards that have just huge heat sinks on them, and then the shuttle fan just sucks all that hotness out of there.
Nice. So when the recommendations come up, say a friend sends you a recommendation, if you have a file that's identical or similar already on your system? Will it only grab
Absolutely.
that for you?
This is what's cool. So Boxee builds a database of all your media. So let me jump into the videos here. I'm going to go My Videos. So because I've got a local hard drive here, I only have a few media files on it here. But my content's all locally here. And if I jump on to Nacho Libre, I can either view the more metadata around it here, or I can jump in and play it. So if you sent me a recommendation to play this movie, Boxee would automatically know that it was within my library and give me the play button. If it wasn't within my library, Boxee tries to make legitimate connections to the internet to find it. And it might be a movie trailer, it might be a stream through an online property, and there's tons of video that's available for free on the internet legally.
And
right?
it's even pulling the artwork down from the internet as well.
Oh, absolutely. So artwork, reviews, etc. So I'm going to go into internet videos here with Boxee. And now you can see Blip TV, movie trailers, video channels. And it's all RSS feeds. We're pulling in the metadata. So if I jump into culture and art, there's tons of these lifestyle shows. And once again, all live, real-time, cool hunting, very cool stuff. The TED conferences. I don't know if you've watched the TED stuff.
Amazing.
It's all available through Boxee for free. All you need is a broadband connection. And if you have a remote control for Media Center and you have some old hardware lying around, just build a little Ubuntu box and have access to all this stuff.
Now here are the great hardware-related questions, but what operating systems will be supported for Boxee?
So right now we're just launching with OS X and with Ubuntu.
Okay.
Windows has so many differences with video cards, and then you've got that whole instance of how do you make sure Windows is not hogging too many system resources, right? So we love Linux at Boxee. Okay. And you know what? It's about time that the Linux guys got some software first, right? Normally OS X and Ubuntu is a stepchild. So we wanted to go with, we all use Macs at Boxee. Half the team on their Macs even dual boots into Ubuntu. So we wanted to do things a little bit differently and give you guys a first crack at some really cool software. A first ever socialized media player built upon a really strong foundation, which is XBMC.
Very, very cool.
So Windows will be out in the fall.
Okay. It's a nice interface, and it's the low resource requirements for hardware, and an interface like that, I think is what appeals to me, being able to reuse my old hardware.
And the music stuff, I do a lot of this. I'll listen to Last.fm on my internet music channels, and you see NPR, Shoutcast. So I'll jump into Last.fm, and then I'll back up with the mouse, or I'm sorry, with the keyboard. We don't use the mouse. The mouse is like the wrong interface for this. It's mostly keyboard or remote. But I'll jump into Pictures and go to Internet Pictures, and instead of listening to satellite radio at home, I'll have Last.fm going, and then I'll jump into my contacts for Flickr and have my flat panel at home as a beautiful slideshow. So very cool use scenario, all free. I don't have to buy any of this content or whatever. So
very nice.
Cool.
Now, does this integrate RSS into itself, or would that be, say I already have an RSS setup that's pulling down my favorite content into a storage system? So could I go either way?
So let me tell you the dream of Boxee. Right?
Okay.
Right now with TiVo, you have a season pass.
Right.
And that sits on the island of your TiVo. And when you get a new TiVo, you got to go through and you have to set up the season pass again. You have to go through all this. It's a big pain. What we want to do with Boxee is allow the alpha creators to build RSS feeds and share them with their friends. So just as I could share a direct link to a TED or a Last.fm stream to you, I could build the Dave Mathews Video Geek Extraordinaire channel. Or, this is probably better for you. You're the video guy, right? You could build a channel of all your favorite sources and then share that with your friends. So they click on one link, and basically their inbox for the content that they know and trust you will provide for them. And it could be your own content, third-party content, whatever. It's a subscription service sharing via RSS.
Cool. Codec support.
Oh, great question.
Because, look, I deal with a dozen codecs per se, audio and video side of things. Yep. And that is one of the biggest roadblocks I run into when handing a file to a friend sometimes.
That's right. Yeah,
They're like, what is this? What do I play it with?
There's nothing worse than going to watch a show on your computer and having you need a DivX or XVID or Matroska or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Now, introduce that to the living room, and no way. If you have to tell your girlfriend that sorry, I've got to download a codec, she's going to leave the room. So Boxee has support for 30 different codecs all built in. Now, we can't do the DRM stuff, right? So if you buy stuff from the Apple Store or sites that wrap the DRM around it, we can't play that. But we're going to add as much DRM supported content as we can in the future, like Windows Plays for sure, which stuff like the streaming sites are starting to use in some instances. But Flash video, high definition video, it's all able to be played. So 30 codecs to support in this thing.
And for if the file that you've recommended isn't on your buddy's computer already, though, what it looks for online are actually legitimate sources,
That's
like
right.
you mentioned as well. It's not it's not trolling, say, the Pirate Bay to find, oh, let's pull down the best content of it. Oh,
Right.
no.
There's a torrent client, FTP, and web-based download client built into Boxee. And there's a pretty cool download manager, so I can jump in the download manager and see what's going on with my downloads here. But like you said, it's all legitimate sources for the content. So even if I download and watch a torrent of, say, Lost, which I would never download a torrent, if you see that I'm watching Lost, or I recommend you watch Lost, Boxee is going to automatically have the connectors to send you to the legitimized site. And my dream is to have plugins with all of the top streaming sites, all the top networks, and even plugins to Amazon Video Store, plugins to Netflix. So if you plug in your credentials, even if it's on YouTube, if we find I'm listening to a song, I recommend that song to you, and that song's not in your library, we'll send you the YouTube video link. That's how sophisticated Boxee can be, because we act like a traffic cop for legitimizing media.
Sweet.
And it's all open source, right? You can hack this, you can remix this, we want you to.
And cost.
Absolutely free, right? It's Web 2.0. Everything
Nice.
should be free. Now, the reason why we're making it free is we really want people to develop on this platform. The living room has needed a software upgrade for a long time. Think about it. TiVo came out in 1999. All these clone boxes, DVRs came out. And those clones, they're too slow. They've got bad user experiences. They show ads, all this nonsense. Apple TV's been a cool, but it's very novel front end. There really hasn't been a beautiful, immersive experience for your media and open streaming media. And we're excited about Boxee.
For me, it's just the solid codec support. That's probably the thing that gets me most excited about it, because I deal with open source formats like say Ogg Vorbis and FLAC for my audio, and it's nice to just to have playback for that. In addition to all the video formats, and there are probably dozens of them out there. So anyway, thank you. That was just terrific. And I think after the show, you've set up a special link that we're going to post in our show notes. We'd like to give it out during the live show, but we're afraid that it's just going to get hammered. But anyway, we have, I believe, 50 alpha invites, or invites for the Boxee Alpha currently available. So if you would like to download and be a part of trying out the Boxee experience, we're going to have a link to that in our show notes on the DL.TV website.
Yeah, so definitely get in there. And once you get in, you can invite your friends.
Oh.
So, but only 50. So if there's 5 of you watching the show right now, just one of them get in. That way we'll save them for the others. But it's hot software.
Spread the love.
That's right.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. We have to get down to this real quick, though. We're going to skip our viewer question of the week and get right to the Sapphire Radeon HD 4850 giveaway. Dun, 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 dun. Our very own Scott Asno has given me the 5 winners randomly selected from random.org. And here we go. Number 1. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just going to say first names only and where you live. Heath from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Congratulations, you're in. Card number 1. Ta-da. What was his username? Was Razrak. I think Heath knows who he is. Number 2, Frank from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's using the folder name Frankie the G. Congratulations.
Is the G for graphics card? Maybe.
Frankie the G. He's the G, man. Just the G. Number 3, Manuel Parra from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Username was Dusts. Congratulations, Manuel. Number 4, Mark Fountain from Louisville, Kentucky. Username mfountain01. You've got yourself a graphics card. And finally, the last. Oh, this was good. Shane from Branson, Missouri.
All right. The Midwest is really representing here. This
Full
is good.
folding username was Farm eUnit. Yeah. There we go. All 5.
That's good.
We will put those first names and info like that on the website. We're going to be contacting you guys anyway to let you know that you are the grand prize winners of the Sapphire Radeon HD 4850 giveaway. Yeah.
That's cool. And ATI's got Ubuntu drivers, so that'd be a great, great HT PC, connected.
This is a rocking card, actually. It even has support for, quote-unquote, 7.1 sound
cool.
audio support. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it's a brand new, sealed-in-the-box graphics card for you. Again, thank you guys for participating. It was just an outrageous response from you alls. And we have 5 winners right here that I'm going to put these off to the side for a second. And just quickly, we'll go over our Folding at Home update this week. We continue to kick booty. Our team is doing quite well. We're still holding steady at number 9. You can see right down there. Our number of active users at 2112 it continues to climb. That's great. We took a slight dip this week in our number of points per hour, but we're still holding it well over 1.1 million, which is just phenomenal. And I just want to say thanks again. If we keep this up, it will take us a short time. It will take us some time, but we will make it all the way to number 4 with no problem. And just a quick mention, the folks at Hard OCP, the #1 champs at the top of that list right there, they are on the verge of breaking the 1 billion points, total points. That's pretty damn historic, actually. And I'm not sure when they'll be doing that, actually, but they're close. They're close. And, of course, we couldn't have had this contest or have provided any of these prizes without thanking Sapphire, the graphics card company. I mean, they tossed down 5 graphics cards for us just to give away, and I want to say a big thank you out to that company for providing excellent hardware. And you know what? It's at a good price, and if you need a graphics hardware, it's solid. It's as good as anything I could recommend. So, there. Done. This one's mine. No, just kidding. I want it, but I can't keep it. So, I'm not eligible for the contest, unfortunately. I think we are done for this week. What are we doing next week? I have no idea.
Back to school, baby.
Oh, it is. Let me get my notes in order. Intel Developers Forum, Envision 08 coverage. Back to school for next week. We've got products, we've got backpacks, we've got small TVs, we've got all sorts of good stuff. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and until next week, take care.